So I guess the question is, can we do this in one take? Guess we'll find out. Alright, so if you're here, you know already what this is. Nonfiction November time. Whoop whoop! I almost skipped it this year. Not in a, I am not going to read any nonfiction because I read nonfiction anyway, but I thought I wouldn't create any content for it. However, it is my favorite time of the year. It just is. So I am going to do this little TBR and maybe come up with some content. I know graphic nonfiction is a big thing for me, and so I might do that. I've been threatening the internet with that for years probably, so we'll see. Anyways, usually Danny and I do this whole big thing where she's picked my TBRs and linked to those videos down below because they are super fun. However, this year we're both really busy and I don't think it would help me a lot. I think I just want a straightforward TBR and go for it. So of course, in case you haven't seen it yet or you kind of forgot because life is so hectic, I am going to link the Nonfiction November announcement video down below. We all know it's a huge reading event run by Olive from a Book Olive, and it's just a great time altogether. Okay, and we failed at the one take thing, but you know, we'll just roll with it. I just ran out of steam halfway through the explanation. Just read nonfiction. There are people who read exclusively nonfiction. Because of my many jobs and many projects, I don't think that will be feasible for me, but I want to get through these 4 books. And so in case you don't know, they give you 4 one-word prompts that you can interpret however you want. And this is my take on them. And yeah, I've discovered that sometimes strict TBRs work. If they are very small and approachable. Oh my god. Can you hear that? What even is that? Okay, I'm gonna go close the window. Hold on. I don't know if that's any better, but hopefully it is. I think I doomed this video when I said I was going to try and do it in one take. But it still has gone very quickly, and this is still like just one clip. I've just cut around it, so at least we're making some progress. Anyways, the 4 prompts for this year are fraud, web, capital, and display. And so the first prompt, fraud, is the only one where I have 2 options. I would want to get through both of these. We'll see what I'm most in the mood for, but I am leaning towards Work Won't Love You Back by Sarah Jaffe. How devotion to our jobs keeps us exploited, exhausted, and alone. I think the fraud element is completely obvious. This is also more of a chunky book, and I haven't been doing so well on my chunky books. Reading purpose, goal, that's the word I was looking for. I haven't been excelling at that, so I think it's time to sneak some chunksters in there. Alternatively, or on top of that, I would also want to read The Good University, What Universities Actually Do and Why It's Time for Radical Change by Roewyn, Connell. There are so many ways that could be pronounced. Yeah, as someone who is a big victim of the university pyramid scheme, but also I can't help but want to go back over and over again. I'm just very interested in universities as institutions. I think they need to change, just like all other systems and institutions. And I think they can be a force for good. And it is within the power of people like me and people who just love universities for what they can be to change it. And yeah, I want to become more involved in that as I return to it perhaps in a year or 2. So there we go. Then for web, I knew immediately what I wanted to do is Sensoria by MacKenzie Wark, Thinkers for the 21st Century. I've become so obsessed with MacKenzie Wark, even though I've only read 1 book by her. I read her most recent memoir, Love and Money, Sex and Death, which is a memoir in letters. It's so good. It's so short. If you're looking for anything any good thing about identity, connection, love, loss, transness, all of it. It's so good. It also talks about culture, and yeah, it's just so good. I will wrap that up. It is in my October wrap up. But anyways, I promptly went out and bought this, and this was before the whole book counting fiasco. And I went to an event and I asked like cheekily if she could also sign this one. She signed the other one. This is going to make sense once I contextualize the other book, I promise. Anyways, but this is a book about different thinkers and ideas and concepts and how they are interconnected and can interconnect. And so it's kind of thinking what intellectuals can do and give us in the 21st century. So very much in the same vein as The Good University. It's sort of not throwing the baby with the bathwater, but also challenging institutions and also like trying to be constructive as someone who is an academic and an intellectual. I've already started this actually. And I'm kind of bummed that I'm going to have to wait until November, but also I have a lot of books to finish before then, so I'm good with pausing this until November, but it will be the first one that I read for Nonfiction November. And then for Capital, I knew right away, it's How to Be an Anti-Capitalist in the 21st Century. I do not lie when I tell you that I was raised on the lie of meritocratic capitalism, not in a drastic way or like a soulless way, I would say, but yeah, sort of the way you hacked through the system was to capitalize yourself and give yourself security. And there's many reasons for that. I won't go much more into that because it touches on thorny family subjects. But since growing up and getting into, politics, well, I'm not in politics, but you know what I mean, like getting a better understanding about the world and political ideas and systems and everything, I've rejected those ideas, let's say. But I think one of the challenges of this atomized society is, I sound like such a prick, but I mean it in the most sort of sincere, less pretentious way. It's just that I think it's hard, it's complicated to sometimes feel or like visualize and put in practice loftier ideas, basically. And I think it's within us all to start that process. Anyways, I am really looking forward to reading this book. It sounds amazing. I got it in Shelf Life Cardiff, which is a wonderful radical bookshop. And I didn't say the author, it's Erik, Olin, Wright. And I think this was posthumously published. I think the author was like working on it and then sadly passed away. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited to read this. And then finally, it's Display. And this was one where I had like many ideas, but in the end, I just went for art because I have a lot of art books that I haven't read. And so I want to read Art and Fear, which is not my most display related book. Like I'm thinking See What You're Missing by Gompertz. And I might read that if I finish all of these. To sort of fit it better, but I really want to read this one because it's all about creativity. It says Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making by David Bayles and Ted Orland. I have recently gone back to, let's say, art making or like crafting, and I'm working on like a sort of mixed media project, and it's just for my own sake, but also I've been telling everyone so I can sort of justify the time I spent on it. And already that sounds like all of these books will help me a lot to get away from that sort of productivity focused mindset. It's like okay to work in art, and also art is hard work at the same time. And I think both of those sort of competing thoughts that art is hard work and you should sort of practice, but also you don't want to quote unquote waste time. If you've read Handiwork by Sarah Baum. Great book on that same question. It can be just hard to justify to yourself. And also, yeah, I just love thinking about art making and being inspired by that. And so I am really looking forward to all of that in that book. Did this make any sense? I hope it did. I'm really proud that I filmed it super quickly. I am really excited for Nonfiction November this year. I wanted to keep it focused and sort of enriching for myself this year. It's been a really turbulent year, so I think I am looking for a bit of sort of wisdom in my nonfiction and my fiction, to be honest, sometimes at least. So yeah, that's it. Tell me, are you participating? What are you reading? Even if it's just that one nonfiction book amongst all the other fiction, just let me know. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.